Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Roland and I'm here to give you guys the EV news over the past 7 days. As you guys can see, we've got a massive week for you, a massive news session for you today. It's pretty much started to come around the corner over here, so we're coming down onto the right side down. We've even got more brands coming here, so without further ado, let's get straight into the news. So, first things first, Zeekr. So Zeekr has officially made its Australian debut at the South by Southwest event, which is in Sydney. So you can see over here they've actually created their own little racetrack. They're calling it, I believe, the Z-Track. So it's designed to highlight the brand's luxury aesthetic and advanced technology, offers stunning panoramic views of the city at the same time, providing a perfect backdrop for its milestone in automotive history as the brand launches in Australia. So, the awesome thing as well is you can see that there is a 009 here. So apparently you can go for, I'm not too sure if it's either test drives or just sitting in it, but it is definitely available, and you guys can go see it. It's there up until, I believe, tomorrow night or tomorrow late afternoon. So yeah, congratulations to Zeekr for, I guess, the official launch, and let's jump over to more news from Zeekr. So, I received this email earlier on in the week, pretty much a promotion, I guess, or a special offer, as the brand has just launched into Australia. So you can see here, this is essentially what I saw in the email. What Zeekr is offering is a 12-month unlimited charging subscription, and also a complimentary 7 kilowatt Zeekr home charger. Now, I've looked into it, and the 12-month charging subscription looks like they have partnered up with EV or EV charging networks, and yeah, I couldn't find any specific terms and conditions, so it just seems like unlimited charging. So yeah, fantastic offer out there. So you can charge your car, and you can also go on road trips, and you've got all of your charging covered. Now, the other awesome thing as well is that you can see here Zeekr confirms pop-up locations for Q4. Now, we've got dates for most of these with exception to ACT. So most of these have essentially already started, so you can see them at these following locations over here. With exception to ACT, if you guys are in ACT, check it out. Let me know if it's already there. I couldn't find any specific dates, but that's the location that it'll be at. So yeah, and I believe that it's just the Zeekr X at this point in time. From some of the photos that I've seen from New South Wales around World Square and Castle Towers, looks like it's just the Zeekr X, but if there is the 009, I'd love to know that as well. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So, another exciting luxury brand coming back into Australia, the Cadillac Lyriq. So you guys may have seen, I've mentioned this over the past couple of weeks, and yeah, basically the website has officially launched, and I received this email here on the left, and I just want to show you guys what the website essentially looks like. So that's essentially the screenshot from the website, and you can see drive away price roughly $123,000 for the base spec, and the top spec was about from $125,000. So look at that, it looks absolutely luxurious. Can't wait to see this car in person one day. And you can also see it looks like you've potentially got speakers here in the headrest as well. So very, very immersive, really awesome. Alright, so that's enough of the website. Let's jump on to the next slide, which is also to do with the Cadillac Lyriq. So the offerings are promotion at the moment. Well, I'm not too sure actually if it is a promotion, but they're saying that as part of buying the vehicle, you do actually already get standard charging cable and 1 year complimentary public charging. So you can also choose to get an additional 2 years, which means 3 years total, or you can get a complimentary home charger installed. Now, bear in mind, this is actually installed. This is not just, here you go, here's a charger. This is actually installed, and that's standard installation. So I presume special installations like going on one side of the house to the other side of the house, probably going to cost you a little bit extra on top. Anyways, clicking into what the details to understand what the home charger is, I've put the screenshot here. So hardware and installation is provided by JetCharge, and it is a single phase or 7.4 kilowatt home charger. So yeah, there you go. Is that going to sway you guys over the line? Realistically, it's about $125,000. You've already get 1 year complimentary charging. You can extend that, or you can get home charger free. What do you guys think? Is that good value or not? I think car-wise, it looks amazing. Can't wait to see that in person, and hopefully all of this kind of is icing on the cake to push you guys to buy the car if that's something that you guys want, because definitely seems like a really luxury type SUV. Alright, let's move on to something else. Next one we've got here is Leapmotor. So the C10, you guys know, that's already coming. It's been ADR approved. It's not here yet. However, in the meantime, we've got its little brother, or its younger sibling, whatever you guys want to call it. It's basically the smaller one. So this, everyone, is the Leapmotor B10. So the previous one was the C10, which was a bit bigger. This one now is called the B10. Now, if this comes in this same purple color, I think that'll look absolutely fantastic. Anyways, this car was revealed at the Paris Motor Show earlier this week. Supposedly it's due in Australia sometime in 2025, with more precise arrival timing, specs and all of that closer to launch, so essentially sometime next year. Now, what they're saying is, given the C10 will start from roughly less than $50,000 before on-road costs, the assumption is that the B10 is going to be even cheaper, so potentially more towards that $40,000 mark. No technical specifications have been published for this new SUV, but they're saying here as a guide, if the C10, which is the bigger brother or the bigger variant, has a 160 kilowatt electric motor with a 69.9 kilowatt hour battery with a claimed 0 to 100 of 7.3 seconds, we should expect something to that level, if not potentially a little bit less. So yeah, either way, there's been nothing confirmed at this point in time in terms of specs, so I'll keep you guys posted when we find out more. So this is the Deepal S07. So pricing's not announced yet. It'll come in November at the Sydney International EV Show at Darling Harbour ICC. So in terms of specs, what we do know, supposedly 160 kilowatts, 320 newton meters, rear-wheel drive, battery is roughly 79.97 kilowatt hours NMC, 475 k's of range, 7 years warranty, 8 years of battery warranty. Now if you guys want to see the full walkthrough and all of the specs, I will link Tom's video from the launch down below. Make sure you guys watch it to get even more details than what I can provide for you guys here. Now they also do have they have teamed up actually with Sculpture by the Sea, so that is Australia's largest outdoor sculpture exhibition. So basically they're saying here an art display integrating the S07 will be featured in the exhibition, which will be held from October 18th, which is essentially today, to 4th of November this year at Bondi Beach. The Deepal S07 will arrive in showrooms in late November, with a dealer network initially comprising of retailers in Sydney and Melbourne. No other details yet, so I'll keep you guys posted when we find out more. Alright, let's continue moving on. So the next one here is the Audi Q6 and SQ6 Sportback E-tron. Big mouthful. So this is essentially definitely coming to Australia. Prices will be confirmed closer to the Australian launch, but they're saying that it's definitely going to command a premium over the circa $110,000 recommended retail price estimate for the standard Q6, which means the petrol version of the Q6 is already $110,000, so this should be a fair bit more. Now some of the cool technology or newer technology on here, I don't have a specific video, but they're saying here OLED tail lights which can change the image every 10 milliseconds, including displaying warning symbols for other motorists, are on offer, with 8 signatures available for the tail lights and matrix LED headlights. So very, very interesting to see or to hear, and hopefully one day to see what that's going to look like. All we know is it's going to have an 800 volt architecture. In terms of battery sizes, they're going to range from roughly 83 kilowatt hours through to 100 kilowatt hours, and there is going to be a SQ6 e-tron. Not too sure about RS, there's been no announcements on that, not yet anyway, but there will be a SQ6 e-tron, which is this one here that you can see on the bottom right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So Denza, as you guys know, this was one that I covered a couple of weeks ago, the Mercedes and BYD partnership that Mercedes sold out on, which is now just BYD. Here's a couple of vehicles that they originally have today as the Denza brand. This was a concept, the Z9 GT, and they've now announced a new one called the Denza N9. So the top spec, triple motor, roughly 710 kilowatts. Front, so there's one at the front and then one each for the rear, which is 240 kilowatts each. It's going to have an LFP battery. It is going to be a big boy, 3,130 to 3,245 kilograms. That is a giant. I can't even imagine or can't even think about how the efficiency is going to be. Hopefully they've nailed that, because they've been doing fairly well these days. Either way, triple motor, this is the EV version. Apparently it's also going to be in a plug-in hybrid, so that's probably also going to be on offer as well. So yeah, that's the Denza N9. We don't have any other details because this was just literally unveiled, and it is also not confirmed for Australia, not yet anyway. Now jumping to something that has been confirmed for Australia is the next slide, which I showed you guys before to say that the BYD General Manager for Asia Pacific has confirmed that Denza will be the next brand to enter Australia. This is the latest slide. So we've got here a comment that was mentioned on the Car Expert website. EV Direct, BYD's local distributor, has confirmed that Denza will be launching in Australia during 2025. They still don't know specifically what model will be here as yet, but what has been built in right-hand drive for Hong Kong is this one down here, which is essentially a people mover. So it's called the Denza D9, and that was the first right-hand drive vehicle for the brand. So what that essentially means is there is potential that the first one that's going to come here is the Denza D9 to take on the people mover market. Again, that's nothing confirmed, this is all speculation, but it just makes sense that if that is the first right-hand drive car, there's a high chance or a good chance that that might be the one that we're going to get over here. But as I said, speculation. Alright, let's move on. The next one here is the BYD Sealion 7. So supposedly it's been confirmed and it's going to look like it's going to be here early next year, possibly around February. If you guys aren't familiar with this, this is essentially the fully electric version compared to what we see today as the Sealion 6, which is a plug-in hybrid. That's obviously going to compete with the Tesla Model Y, the XPeng G6, Kia EV5, and quite a lot of the other cars coming out of the Chinese market that's essentially targeting the Tesla Model Y. So yeah, there's also some extra news on this actually. During this official reveal during the Paris Motor Show, they also announced that it's available for the European market, and it's also had a larger battery upgrade. So the great thing as well is that now this car, potentially, in terms of the top spec, is going to have roughly, from memory, around 10 kilowatt hours more than the previous one. So hopefully that's the one that's going to get standardized and the one that we're going to get over here, because more battery is obviously better for range as well if you're talking about efficiency standpoint. And yeah, that's quite exciting. So we haven't even got the current one here now, and they've already released the new one, at least for the European market, with a bigger battery. So again, there's no specific pricing or any other details on it as yet, so everything else is speculation, but what is confirmed is that it is coming here and it's looking like early 2025, potentially around February, so watch this space. Alright, let's talk Tesla. So the bottom line is, or the summary is, that Tesla started selling a 7-seat version in right-hand drive in the UK. So what does that mean? So it's a 7-seat layout. Now one thing to bear in mind is don't get too excited. It's not necessarily coming here to Australia, because the ones that they get in the UK are apparently built in Germany. The ones that we get here, the current 5-seater Tesla Model Ys, they're all coming out of China. So it's a totally different factory. So obviously no confirmation that we're going to get it here. However, it is right-hand drive production, which potentially means that some things may potentially happen, which can enable them to essentially bring them here. However, before you get way too excited, here's a picture I've taken from Reddit, so you guys can actually see how limited the space is. So what I want to you guys to pay attention to is, you'll see that obviously this bit is a lot smaller here, but the main thing is, if you think in terms of leg space, there's not a lot of space in some of the videos that you can see online. And the other thing as well, when you can see the child seats here, you can actually see that the child seats actually protrude up and above the actual frame or chassis of the car before the boot lid. So what that means is when the boot lid closes, that's where you're fully covered. Other than that, your head is actually sticking out of that section there. So I don't know how I feel. It really feels like it's going to be used for just kids only, and I don't think adults will really be too comfortable. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you guys interested? Would you guys actually get one? I, for one, as much as I wanted 7-seater, now that I have a 7-seater, I don't think I'd consider it. If that was here, I genuinely think that I would definitely consider it. I'm not going to lie. Because of the size of the car overall, it's not that big, but I would want to understand what the safety look like for these 7-seaters. But yeah, that's essentially it. So let's keep moving on. So Mini JCW Cooper and Aceman EV. So I mentioned last week that this car was going to be unveiled officially at the Paris Motor Show. So let's jump through that one. Here are the official uncamouflaged pictures. Now the name that they've given for the hatch is the JCW Electric, or the John Cooper Works Electric, and the other one with the 4-door or 5-door is called the John Cooper Works Aceman. So the specs are over here. It's not confirmed for Australia as yet, but if we do get it, it'd potentially be around those specs, but that's the final look. That's what it looks like without the camouflage. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like it? And let's move on to the next slide. So Alpine or Alpine A390. So you guys have seen the A290, which was the smaller hatch. This is the A390, and actually it's A390_B or A390 Beta. So it's this concept car that has debuted at the 2024 Paris Motor Show. Apparently this is already 85% as a representation of the electric fastback, so it means that it's almost complete. So this is what they're essentially aiming for. It's got some pretty cool doors. It's pillarless from what I can see here in the middle, so I'm not too sure how that how safe that is, but it's just a call out. I'm no safety expert, but it's just a general call out that traditionally doors have had a pillar down the middle. So what happens if you don't have that? Is it structurally still safe? Either way, there's no specs or anything at all on this vehicle, but I think it looks pretty cool. And yeah, that's essentially all of the news that we have covered from the Paris Motor Show on this A390. So that actually takes us through to the end. We've got no social media updates this week. There's too much of some of the other ones to cover off, which meant I didn't have enough time to grab all of the other social media stuff like I usually do. Either way, if you guys have stayed through the entire thing, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching. Give the video a like, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you soon next week.